Hello RoKStars, how's everyone going? ladusgamingyt here, and today we are looking at the Osiris League Finals Match 2. Now there are two matches we are going to see, just like last time, whether we can spectate both. So on one hand, you got 1021 versus 1v, and then it's 88 VH versus 89 CG. We are going to focus on the 89 CG more because that's our destination kingdom 2489. We want to see whether we make it there when they already have a nice beautiful Osiris League banner. So today's the day when they're gonna try to bring it home. And on the other hand, you have 1v fighting for their survival in the tournament. They gotta win today to make sure they still have a chance to retain their Osiris League crown. Now Muhammad Al-Zazir, thank you for being here. Datatai, your second K489 room. Hello Ladus, amen. How you going? Wyoming. Hello Ladus, amen. Authentic Gaming YT, hello, hey man, how you going? I'm ready to win. Room, alright man, I hope you do win. And then we want to be in a winner kingdom, so we definitely hope you do win. Samuel Ego, my cash on 1021, man, you know what I have done? So I have cleared the shop, but then with the remaining coins, I have gone all in on 1v. So I also obviously had some coins on 1v as well from early on, and that's the Mark of the Champion coin. So every which way you look at it, I'm going for 1v. So yesterday I was fighting 1v, and today I'm going for 1v. That's the Rise of Kingdoms world for you. Now let's see whether there's much to talk about. So if I can't click on schedule, this is one of the matches on the on the smaller screen on the right hand side. So we are going with the dual screen. So on the right hand side, you are looking at the smaller screen where we will try to get into the 1021 1v match. Now that can get a little challenging to get in, but then on the other hand, the second on the second screen, or in our case I guess the first screen, we are going to look at Sobek, and we are going to watch the match between 88 VH and 89 CJ. Samuel Ego, 1v win in KVK. Yeah, 1v actually, I think the zone, I mean not think, 1v won the zone already. But then in terms of the KVK, we'll see. I mean, if 1v wins the zone already, then they're more likely to win the Kingsland fight as well, because they will have 1664 joining in. So I don't think this is a KVK that'll add a lot more entertainment value for us. Saying that, we're obviously going to keep fighting as long as the kingdom's decision is to fight. But then from my personal point of view, if 1556, as in the alliance that is going to 2489, I would prefer if we just go, because we fought in the zone and we kind of know we're not winning. I might as well go 2489 and enjoy some farming there for the time being, because I don't want to finish KVK and be in another KVK the next day, because the sick call situation, I gotta call in sick every time pass opens and whatever. So I wouldn't mind a little bit of a break, and then during that time we can keep you entertained watching other KVKs. But enough about KVKs. Today's stream is not about KVKs, it's about Osiris League. So let's talk about the 1v match first. So even though that's gonna be in the mini map, depending on how interesting which match gets, we may be switching screens just like this. So we got a fancy setup now, so that we can kind of go around and do fancy stuff on stream. There's more fancy stuff coming, by the way. I got a stream deck and I haven't set it up yet, so there's like beautiful voices and other things you can do on the screen as well. So we'll figure that out when I have time. Shagla, will you spend more on crystal bundles? Very good question, Shagla. No, so I'm not spending any more on crystal bundles at the moment, saying that I'm waiting for Kingdom's direction. If the Kingdom says that we're gonna fight till the last day, then I will spend the money on the crystal. But then if there's a possibility, I think it's wiser for us to kind of leave. So I don't know the decision. We'll see what happens. Tech, hi Ladus, hey man, good to have you here. Members on chat, Samuel Ego, you migrating to 2489? Yes man, December, we are migrating to 2489 in December. Now what day of December, we're not too sure yet. Mr. Bastet, are you guys migrating before KL? There's no communication from the kingdom saying, or the alliance saying that we are doing this. I was just saying that I would have preferred that, because if the call is we're not going to win this KVK and we know that we are migrating after this KVK, then in my eyes, I kind of lost this KVK already. So, you know, but it's not my decision. I'm not going to go myself without the alliance. So whatever when the kingdom decides, I just follow that. Now, guys, we got about 8 minutes left before the Osiris League match starts. So let's talk about the Osiris League match. So what's happening between 1021 and OneV? Now, we saw the first match. In terms of the first match, 1021 actually dominated in terms of the middle fights, which is shocking. Like how they did that is kind of beyond me. I do believe OneV was playing a little bit too defensive. OneV probably can afford to play a little bit more aggressive in terms of the middle fight, in terms of the buildings and in general. And we may see OneV switching it up a gear today, because today is, you know, all in. So OneV, if they don't win the match today, then obviously, you know, best of 3, then, you know, they're out. So they're going to definitely go all out. And in terms of going all out, I don't think defensive kind of suits OneV. So I don't think they're going to play defensive. Now, one thing that will probably play in OneV's favor is 1021 may not change too much from what they did the last match, because whatever they did the last match, they won that match. So they're probably confident about their strategy. There's a possibility they may not try to switch it up too much. And if that's the case, obviously I don't know whether that's the case. 1021 Black Jack may decide to play something completely differently. But then if they go with the same strategy, then I think it plays into OneV's hand, because OneV then probably based on the first match got a bit of a feel of how to counter 1021, if you want to put it that way. In previous Osiris League finals, when there's best of 3 or any other situation, we have seen somewhat equal teams. Even if they lose the first one, then they at least pull one back, and OneV may be able to do it this match. Going through our own example, so we were playing OV. OV is not the top team at the moment anymore, but they used to be, and they're still pretty decent. So we lost our first match to OV, as in playing in 1556, but then based on the first match defeat, we did, I guess, analyze the match, and then we realized there are a few things we can do differently, which is what we did, and that actually gave us a victory. But then from our point of view, it felt like OV didn't kind of change what they were doing. So it will be interesting to see whether that's the case. Now, talking about the other match in question, which is the main match that we're going to try to spectate today, 88VH and 89CG. So in terms of that match, I probably have to say that 2489 kind of had the upper hand on every single aspect of that match. So even if 89CG kind of keeps all of it the same, I'm not too sure whether 88VH can actually overcome them. 88VH has to be more innovative to disrupt the 89CG play, and I don't know how they're going to be able to do that. If they can somehow do that, then they have a little hope. So that match wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be. I mean, it made me happy because 2489 is winning, but in terms of competitiveness, it may not have been as good. Shagla, if you guys leave before KL, it'll be a bad picture for you. I don't think that's the case, man. I mean, it's not like we didn't fight. So if we are losing both zones, if you're losing both zone 4s, then the KVK is over. So we're not complaining about the KVK. OneV won the KVK fair and square, along with their allies 1664 on the other side. So by the way, I don't know what the decision is. I'm just saying like what I think. So KVK in a way is over. So if both teams lose both sides, I don't know how it's going to be any different in KL. But you know, 4 may decide to stay. Duck I think 89CG will win easy. Yeah, there's a good chance, man. There's a good chance 89CG can win easy. That's what we're hoping for. Moonlights is the KVK over Ladus. Come on, man. I want to feel field fight in KVK. Hey, man. We can, if you really want, we can, you know, I can do some field fighting with you in zone 4, but I think it's over already, man. But we'll see. I mean, in my mind, it's over. I do not speak on behalf of 1556 leadership. I'm just speaking my mind. So they may decide to fight on. If they do, I will. Samuel Ego, 1v structure game was weak. Yes, definitely. 1v structure game was weak. And in general, 1v... It's shocking how they tried to play defensive and at the same time the structure game was weak. So it kind of didn't make sense to me. Like they didn't... Like in the match, it didn't feel like 1v was 1v, but then 1v was very dominant in the KVK, and I'm kind of hoping they can continue with that form in this OL match as well. Jack the Ripper, now you guys are free burning as 1v in OL. Now you guys are free burning. We are properly free burning, man. I mean, I don't think we are even fighting in that zone. So there was mail sent out saying come back to starting zone. So that zone has been lost to 1v already. Kruger Pandemic 2488. Let's go. Amen. Good luck to 2488. Hopefully you guys put up a good fight, and it'll be interesting to see whether it can be a 1-1 over there as well. Kruger, we will 2488 go. That's the spirit, man. Hopefully it's a good match. Sep, only first realm is competitive at the moment. Yeah, if you look at the other 3 matches, 1021 is probably not just being competitive, quite surprising as well in terms of their performance, which is great to see. When the match will start, so match has about 2 minutes left to start. That's when we're gonna start having a look. B, hello, man. Hey, man, how you going? When Easter Betsy, hello Ladus, hello everyone. Hey, good to have you guys on chat. So guys, same routine. So now there's about a minute left. So what we need to do, you know what we need to do. Lilith doesn't love us, so we're not, you know, whitelisted or something. Maybe I'm not, you know, white enough for Lilith's liking to be whitelisted, too brown, but whatever. What we are going to try to do is gonna click and get in, and that's the way we did it last time. Now, am I looking at the wrong match here? Yes. Oh no, actually we're looking at, it doesn't matter which one we're looking at because we can just switch between the screens. All right, let's go and be at the right screen. So that's Black Jack on the first screen. So on the other screen, we're going to go to Sobek, and we're gonna click on the 88 VH and 89 CG match. Now in like 30 seconds time, I'm gonna start clicking and hopefully we get in. It could get embarrassing, just a heads up. If we can't get into any match, which is unlikely, but it can happen, then it's gonna be sad. Now I think the time is here, so let's see if we can get in. Time is here, let's see if we can get in. In my clock it says 12 UTC already, so I don't know whether we can get in. Watch, enter, we got in. Yes, we got in one of the matches. Now let's go to the Sobek match and then see if we can get into the Sobek match. Valhalla, it doesn't say it started yet. How come it hasn't started yet? Okay, it has started now. Now it looks like we're gonna find it challenging to get into the 2489 match. Well, last time we found it harder to get into the 1v match, but either way, like, it doesn't matter. Probably the 1v match is going to be more interesting anyways. TNV at Q, hey man, how you going? But then we're going to keep clicking on the other match. Now let's talk about the 1021 match. 1021 in blue on the left hand side, and on the right hand side you got 1v. Now we did manage to get into the other match as well. So guys, we got both the matches ready for you. This is Osiris League Season 6 and this is Finals Match 2. So as you can see in the main screen, you got the Road to Championship for 1021 and 1v and 1v and 1021. The last match was extremely close with a little bit of an advantage to Black Jack, and that was enough for them to win the match. Now with 1021 with one match in the bag, it's interesting to see whether 1v can pull one back and they can go all out or not. Now in terms of our second match, 88 Valhalla, it was a little bit behind in terms of the pace of the whole match, and then it's going to be interesting to see if they can pull on a victory from 2-4-8-9. Very unlikely, but then we'll see. So both matches has about 40 seconds left to start. So what we are going to do is we are going to try to keep an eye out on both matches at the start, and then see how we kind of go. You can see both matches, and then depending on how each of the matches are going, we may kind of switch between. So to start off with, maybe we will keep the 1v match in the main screen, and 89CG, we're going to see if 88 is kind of, you know, changing up the strategy. If they're doing good, then we're going to start watching that instead. So keeping an eye out on both. Fallen, hey Duke bro, stream a 60 GD match later. Hey man, I wish I could, I want to, but then at the same time it's kind of challenging for me to do that late. 1021 FTW. All right, 1021 coming out of the gates. So let's see, let's have a look out on their marches. So you got an XY, you see a Cow, you see another double C, you see John primaries, you see Nevsky, and then you see Guan, lots of Guan. The Ethelflaed is still there. There's more Ethelflaeds coming out. Guan XY, the Jadwiga garrisons are coming out. So in terms of 1021, they have obviously they have everyone, you know, playing, and you know, everyone kind of eager to come out. Now on the other side, we want to see how 1v is kind of going. 1v's marches, we kind of know what they use anyways, so it's gonna be the similar sort of marches, I guess. So you got the Jones, you got the Guans, you got the Ethelflaed. So in terms of the match, we just saw a Saladin, but we saw a second Saladin. What is happening? Is Saladin somehow meta again now for Ark of Osiris? But then other than the Saladins, I think, you know, most of the matches that you're looking at are pretty standard. Now we do see 1v starting to gather already, so you saw gathering marches coming out of 1v. Now let's zoom out and let's keep an eye on the map. Let's see who starts getting the obelisks faster. Now looking at our second match on the mini map on the right hand side, we have hard push going on from 89CG, and 89CG is already within one of the obelisks. Hard push in the 1v match from 1v as well. In terms of obelisk capture in the 1v match, well, we do see a difference in strategies already, guys. If you have noticed, 1v has used hard push, whereas on the other side 1021 hasn't used hard push. So 1021 is definitely mixing up strategies a little bit. So 1v is going to capture the obelisks faster, but then in terms of the mid fight, 1021 is going to have a little bit more of an advantage point wise. Now one of the interesting things to be seen here now is if 1v can continue with the rally, given the capturing that obelisk is gonna take a while for 1021. So if 1v doesn't cancel the rally, they may be able to cause some drama early on, because cities may not be able to port in before the rally gets there. It kind of depends on what rally they send. We are going to find that out pretty soon as well. Now in terms of the other match, does anyone have an advantage? Yes. Now in terms of the other match, it does look like there's about there's a few seconds advantage in terms of the red side in 2489. We are going to see the rallies, not rallies, we are going to see the swarm on the desert altars on both matches. There's about 2 minutes left before that happens, but then we want to see which direction the marches are going. So 1021 is taking up a defensive position in terms of their desert altar. They're kind of standing a little bit behind the desert altar. They're not taking the position a little bit forward. 1v's marches are there already, and 1v is going with big numbers over there. 1v changed their march step. They were playing Nev primary last game. Now they switched to Joan. All right, so that's an interesting pickup. Now 1v actually didn't continue with the rally on the obelisk. 1v actually canceled that rally. Let's check the other obelisk. Now the other obelisk, 1v is not rallying either. They have a cow double C march standing there. I don't know why, blocking teleports maybe. Now let's look at the desert altar. In terms of the 1v desert altar, 1v is taking up a defensive position as well, but again, compared to last match 1v was standing a little bit more forward. This time around they're actually standing at the desert altar itself. And in terms of the other building, this is probably going to be the interesting building to see. We want to see if 1v can have an advantage in terms of pushing in and taking the desert altar. Now in terms of our other match in the map, in the smaller map on the right hand side, you can see that there's a lot of Saladins, and I was shocked for a second as in thinking why so many Saladins. But you got to remember, it's in Sobek. Saladin is a top commander. They're not just Saladin. You actually see Khans fighting over there as well. Now guys, I'm looking at the mini map on the right hand side. By mini map I mean the smaller screen. I should get my wordings right. Now we will actually have to see whether 88VH can keep up the intensity. If they can't, then we are going to focus on only the 10-21 versus 1v match. Now in terms of the smaller screen, we do see 89 CG dominating already, so I don't know how competitive that match is going to be. Now in terms of this match, 1v and 10-21, they are fighting hard next to the 10-21 desert altar. There's a lot of blues, but the blue faces are going home. Sad face probably a little faster than the 1v marches. Now 1v may have a good claim on this. How long till the building opens? Actually the building opened already, and 1v is inside. As you can see, 1v is garrisoning with a Quan. Now usually 1v has a garrison leader somewhere forward as well. I hope that garrison leader can get in. That way 1v can hold on to the building a little bit. Now I saw another Saladin here. I don't know whether it's the same Saladin or not. We see 1v targeting the Jadwiga and YSS from 10-21. That's a good call. Kill that Jadwiga. 1v, be smart about it. Kill that Jadwiga, then you destroyed their garrison so that they can't garrison that building anymore. Now there is a lot more blue marches. 1v is getting cleared. Now it's going to be swarm time on that building, on that one. Now failure on 1v's part for only having a one. They're gonna lose that building. So we see 10-21 picking up where they left off in the first match, and they are being quite dominating. Now 1v actually has taken over the Shrine of Life on the right hand side, and they're actually doing a good job holding on to that. They may even get the first occupation. Can they? How long it's left? It's 1 minute and a half, but then within minute and a half I'm sure these blue marches are gonna go towards that direction. Now in terms of the 1v side, we see a similar story. As much as 1v managed to keep their desert altar, the shrine below belongs to 10-21. So can 10-21 hold on to it? They got 2 minutes. Now the extra time for 10-21 is to do with them not using hard push at the start. I hope the underdog team wins the Fallen. I don't know who the underdog team is, man. Don't forget to breathe. This is too exciting, man. So I don't know when to breathe. TSN Lambu. Now, in terms of the middle, 5.5 minutes left. So these dead marches that are going home now, this is probably a good time for them to start going for the middle now. Especially, I want to see 1v going for the middle already, because that's their main thing. 1v has to play a 3-arc match. In a 3-arc match, 1v has a better chance of winning. In terms of the building game, 1v showed that they're not as strong. Now 1v is kind of sacrificing a lot of their marches in swarming the buildings, and as you can see, when 1v is swarming that building, they change the garrison to city keeper meta, and this is to make sure that 1v marches takes longer to die. Now after a whole swarm, the marches are not going to be dead. They have to swarm a second city or something, or even this city again, but then these marches, they're just standing there, and they were hoping these marches go home dead. So 10-21 has managed to delay 1v a little bit already in terms of getting their marches reset. Now if we look at the map on the other side, now looking over to the 10-24-89 match, if you look at the 10-24-89 match, the buildings are somewhat even in terms of the points. There's an advantage to 24-89 already. They have a 1,000 point lead, so they have stolen maybe one of the first occupations, or they captured their buildings a little bit earlier. In terms of the outpost, it looks like they're swapping outposts, but other than swapping outpost, the buildings are actually somewhat even at the moment. But then we do see 24-89 pressuring the 88 buildings, and there could be a bit of an advantage that 24-89 got already in terms of points. And now we see the points difference going up a little bit more, 1,200 points or something like that now. Oh no, it's actually a lot less than that. So it's 3,700 versus 4,200, and that's to do with 2489 actually didn't steal any first occupation. It was more to do with them delaying the first occupation from 88. And if you look at that match, they are gathering for the middle already with 3.5 minutes left. Now, middle time for both the matches at the same time, obviously, because the Post-Ark actually spawns at the same time. So this is going to be quite challenging for us to kind of look at, you know, which mid fight gets more interesting. Now, 1v's mid fight may get a bit more interesting because 2489 won all the last mid fights, but either way we're gonna keep an eye out on both. 1v got there first. 1v is standing very close to the temple, but then in terms of marches in the middle, are you gonna say it's kind of even? I think it's kind of even. It's kind of hard to tell. They still got marches going in there or from both sides, and it's 2.5 minutes left, 2 minutes 20. So what time do you think they're gonna start fighting? So in the last match they were both quite late in terms of engaging. They engaged with less than a minute left. There's a good chance we're gonna kind of see that again, because we do not see all the marches present there already. We have marches walking towards the middle from both sides still. Now remember, this first arc 1021 is going to be having a little bit of an advantage because they didn't use any of their points yet. So in terms of casting skills, there's a chance that 1021 is actually going for a strategy of using maybe using Heaven's Grace in the first one. If you use Heaven's Grace in the first one and you keep the Ark, then for the second one 1021 can use To the Death, and 1v then wouldn't be able to use both. They have to choose between the one or the first or the second skill in terms of the second Ark, and potentially 1021 can disallow the third Ark altogether if they win this and they can hold on to it. So when you're not using your hard push at the start, then you do need to make sure you win the first Ark. Otherwise you're kind of complicating your strategy a little bit too much. Samuel, 1v won second Ark last match. Yeah, 1v did, but then it's gonna be, I guess, a bit more challenging. Now look at the positions here. So 1v is I am strong from 1v is kind of trying to tempt 1021. Look at where he's standing. Look at where he's standing. He's standing in the face with a Guan, but then these guys are not engaging. Now that march has come back, I guess. So that was, I mean, that march wasn't kind of standing there. It went up there, just like how I'm strong is going in again. But this time 1v is actually engaging. So 1v engaged a little early. They're taking the fight with 30 seconds left. None of the teams have used a skill yet. Now the skill go Heaven's Grace from 1v, and then Heaven's Grace matching from 1021. I didn't think 1v will have the points. Now that means there will be extra points available for 1021. 1021 goes for Mystical Formation. 1v is not going to have Mystical Formation. I'm pretty sure about that. So this is all the skills they could cast for the first Ark with a little bit of an extra skill advantage. It does 1021 have a Ark on their end now. 1v is kind of surrounding the Ark. If you can see around the temple, there's quite a few 1v marches there. Now Ark has spawned already. We do not see any of the teams being able to capture it or make a pull on it. Now Ark 1v did get a pull on it. The Ark actually dropped on the right hand side of the map, and you have a 1v trying to have a grab at it again. Now in terms of the marches in the middle, it does look like there's a lot more 1v in the middle now, because you see all those sad faces going home from 1021. So what's this new magic from 1v? And this is what we are talking about. 1v's strength is in their mid fight, so 1v has to play for 3 arcs. They can't delay with the arc. And now 1021 has managed to pull the Ark a little bit towards their side, but they're losing so many marches. A lot more sad faces going home towards 1021. So it's probably safe to say that 1v may have this Ark. It's going to be interesting to see whether 1021 actually comes back for the middle, or whether they kind of focus on the middle game. Now 1v is slowly walking away with the Ark. Now if you look at the other match, let me kind of switch over to the other screen and see what's happening over there. Now you can still see the 1v match. It's in the mini-map. It's converted into the mini-map now. Now in terms of point, 1v has a points lead, 1000 point leads. On top of that, they're going for the Ark. Mid is cleared. Now in terms of the other match, The Ark is a little bit towards the 2489 side, but then there are still some blue marches there, but it doesn't look like blue is gonna be able to contest this Ark anymore. 89 CG with complete dominance, just like 1v, just like the other match we were seeing. The red side has cleared, pretty much cleared the mid of blue, and then we should see Arvix's team, our future team, kind of walking back with the Ark. That's kind of exciting. Now they got 1,400 points lead. On top of that, they're getting the Ark. So in both matches, teams with the Ark are the teams that are naturally leading the points as well. Now 2489, last time they didn't delay the first couple of Arks at all. They delivered straight away. I hope they are going to do the same, because we want to see that lead coming from 2489. So 2489 walking away with the Ark. There's a Charles kind of trying to, you know, bother, but the Charles and Constantine, it's Charles and Constantine, that's why it was alive for so long. But then that march is dead, and then Arvix is walking back with the Ark. Now with that note, I think we should switch the match over a little bit as well. So let's see what is 1v doing with the Ark. Where did 1v take the Ark? So 1v is walking back with the Ark. Still walking back. I am strong is walking now. I am strong is very strong. And if you guys want to see what are the 7 marches he's using in KVK, what commanders, what equipment, you can watch it on our channel. We got a video, a very short video covering his 7 marches and equipment setup. So it's gonna be quite interesting for you guys if you haven't seen it already. 1v, most of their players has a similar strategy in terms of how do they do their commander pairing, whether it be Osiris League or KVK, and they kind of win in both sides. So it's definitely a good guide to follow. Now with Ark going home safely, 1v didn't go for the Ark deposit at the outpost, which was the fastest route. So something tells me 1v may decide to hold on to the Ark, which I think will be a wrong decision from 1v side, but let's see how it kind of goes. So in terms of the buildings, 1021, because they got reset from the middle early on, they do have a little bit of an advantage in terms of marches getting back faster, and they have taken those marches towards the sky altar, and they have taken over the 1v sky altar. Now the 1v sky altar is sitting pretty in 1021's hand with a Jadwiga garrison. They got a lot of marches present around it as well. So 1v probably can't take it over with just a swarm. They probably need to send a rally over here as well. And what is happening around the map? 1v is still holding on to their Shrine of War. 1v is not in a position where they can probably bother forward buildings, because their marches just got home, so they are holding on to their desert altar. Now we see forward buildings and own buildings. We see Jadwiga being the primary garrisons. We're not necessarily seeing the Zenobia here. Now 1021 has also taken over the Shrine of Life from 1v, which 1v is trying to swarm back. Let's have a look at the buildings game. So even though 1v got the Ark, the building games is strongly in favor of 1021. As I was explaining, just after the first Ark, because 1021 lost that Ark battle, they probably have a bit of an advantage, but with that advantage they're getting 590 points per minute, whereas 1v is only getting 360 points per minute. Now 1v has an unused teleport, which is kind of rare to see. So hopefully, oh, 2 unused teleports. So how come 1v is not porting in? So 1 now. So yeah, we're probably gonna see one of them porting in, and we just saw that port. New subscribers, thank you for your support. Now when you look at the buildings game, 1v should be taking over the sky altar anytime soon. 1v is choosing not to deposit the Ark. Now I hope 1v knows what they're doing. They just left the Ark next to that building, so I hope 1v knows what they're doing. I think it's a wrong play from 1v not to deposit the Ark, because 1021 1021 had a solid building game. 1v can win any mid fight. If you can win any mid fight, why are you not then kind of playing that strategy? I don't understand. Now in terms of our other match, 2489 has scored the Ark in 6 minutes time. The second Ark is going to spawn. However, they have such a big lead already, so you see 8,600 versus 13,000 points. That's definitely a big lead from 2489, and they're pressuring the enemy buildings as well. Now 1v has taken over that desert altar. I mean, 1v had that desert altar, not taken over. 1v had that desert altar, but then 1021 putting heavy pressure. You see the archer rally coming in against the Cav garrison. So you got Henry and Nebu, and in garrison you got Jadwiga and YSS. Heavy swarm 1v for some reason doesn't feel like have enough marches around the field. Hopefully those marches are kind of keeping the building full though. So the archer rally health is low, the garrison health is low as well. This can switch either way. For 1v's sake, 1v has to make sure they're holding on to this building. They need to show that their building's game is a little bit stronger. Now the points are very close, keeping in mind that 1v does have the 3,000 extra points, but then that's nothing if they don't win the second Ark. So 1v somewhat keeping that garrison full. Now let's have a look at the marches swarming. Does 1021 use specific marches to swarm? We see a lot of XY swarming. Do we see the important march that you need to see when it comes to swarming? You need to see the green arrow going in, the poison arrows from Tomiris, and we do not see that from 1021 in this example. But Tomiris or not, they have taken that desert altar from 1v. So in terms of buildings game, 1v on the left hand side is definitely somewhat behind. There are two buildings that 1021 has. One of those buildings is soon going to start generating points for 1021. So 1021 has managed to even up the match in terms of points, keeping in mind 1v still has the Ark in hand. So 1v is trying to play very defensive. I don't know whether they're going to be successful. Now from 1021 we see the Janjiska garrison rather than the Jadwiga that we have been seeing. But look at 1v. When 1v is doing the swarming, you do see that green arrow coming in at the Tomiris green arrow. There you go. And there should be a Chandra somewhere as well, because as long as you're buffing with these two marches, you definitely get your buildings back a lot more faster. Double debuff. So I'm sure there's a Chandra somewhere. We know JST always has a Chandra as well, and I'm pretty sure 1v would have at least one person using Chandra, but we definitely see the Tomiris. Now there's gonna be more attempts from 1021 to swarm it down, but now 1021 doesn't have enough marches here to be able to do it. So 1v, are they being aggressive anywhere? So yes, they are trying to do a swarm on the desert altar from 1021, but there's a Zenobia garrison and there's no rally that we can see. We only see field marches swarming. With only field marches swarming, it may be too hard to take that Zenobia down. That Zenobia seems like she's in good health, and there are some support marches from 1021 as well, but to be honest, not a lot. So 1v has taken care of most of the support marches. By the way, we just saw a CJ. That's quite rare to see as well. You see a Scipio and CJ March kind of fighting there from Save Me from 1021. Pluto Gaming, Ladus should be a rapper. I am a rapper, man. That's what my day job is. How come you didn't know that? Mathur 2489 is playing OP, man. 2489 is playing OP, so OP that match doesn't even look interesting anymore. You got a 15,000 versus 10,000 point scenario, so there's already a 5,000 point difference after the first arc. They are already, that is interesting. They are already fighting for the second arc. Guys, we gotta switch it over. There's some drama happening in terms of the other match. So 1021, this is how aggressive they are. With 2 minutes left for the Ark to spawn, 2489 has engaged already, and look at what 2489 is doing. They are pushing back at the blue side 88 all the way out of the mid. So not only you can't, no, we're not gonna fight. So 2489 is saying, no, we don't want to fight for the Ark anymore. You do not deserve to fight us in the middle. We are not gonna let you come to the middle at all, and we are just gonna take the Ark and walk away, and that's how it's gonna be. So they have the Decisive from last time. That guy we saw, he's the official Ark carrier of 2489, and he's standing there, and the rest of the 2489 guys, they're not even letting 88 group up for the middle fight. They're getting destroyed even before they come in. Now is 2489 being too aggressive? Maybe, but it may pay off. Well, it may not pay off either unless we see 2489 committing more matches. Yes, 2489, some more matches are going in. Some more matches are going in, and I think they have done the job. With 1 minute left, all the blue matches that you can see here are kind of half dead, so it's not like they're gonna make a meaningful difference in terms of the Ark. The blue matches are still 88 is still trying to come to the middle, but it doesn't look like they're gonna be successful. Now that Zenobia swarm that we were saying, 1v still swarming that building. 1v now got a rally over here. You got a Nevsky and Attila. Okay, that's kind of new. I thought the rally is Attila and Nevsky, not Nevsky and Attila. But if 1v does it, I'm sure they tested, and that kind of makes sense. Now 2489 was saying they're not gonna let the blue team fight for the middle. Now they haven't been as dominating as I was saying. The blue matches have made it to the middle, but then at the same time I think there's more red, and if they can grab a pull on the Ark. Decisive, are you there, man? I'm pretty sure you are. Take a hold of the Ark and make a pull. I can't click on the names, there's too many. There's more red matches here, so it's gonna be surprising if 1021 doesn't get the Ark and they get a pull on the Ark. So is it our man, the Daichen guy that we love so much in terms of the 2489 people? Yes, he has. Is he carrying it with the cow? Is he carrying it with the Khan? No, he's carrying it with the cow. So the cow running away. The blue team is trying to chase it. I don't think blue team has enough matches, and I think that's game matches set for 2489, because if they get this Ark, this is the second match. They won the first match, and even in the second match they won the first Ark. If they get the second Ark as well, I don't see how 88 VH has any chance of coming back. So that's pure domination from 2489. Now let's switch matches and let's see what's happening with the 1021 versus 1v match. Now Jadwiga Garrison, that's what we want to see from 1v. Now 1v has 2 more minutes for before they have to, you know, kind of deposit the Ark, and they're gonna take the whole 2 minutes. So 1v definitely not going for the third Ark. 1v wants to make it only 2 Arks. Now 1v is back a little bit in terms of the building game, so if you look at the points, it's kind of even. Oh, not even, it's in 1v's favor. 1v is trying. No, you thought that we only can play the mid game, we can play the building game as well. We got double the points, 360 M from 1021, not 360 M, 360 points per minute from 1021 Black Jack, and 740 points per minute from 1v. So 1v is trying. Hey, Sepp from 1365, you said 1v doesn't have a good buildings game. We're gonna show you how 1v can play the guild buildings game as well. 1v can play whatever they decide to play, whether it be Ark, whether it be KVK, whether it be, you know, buildings game or mid fight. So I am strong. Remembering the time, he's capturing it again. So with only maybe a few seconds left, he's gonna deposit it, and then 1v is going to have a 3000 points lead, which again is nothing if they don't win the second Ark. Mathur 2489 champions. Yes, I think it's kind of safe to say 2489 is gonna be the champions over here. They are going to deposit the Ark. They haven't done it yet. Where is the Ark? I think no, they have, sorry, they just deposited the Ark, and now it's 13,000, well 14,000 versus 22, so that's a huge difference. I don't see 88 VH kind of coming back, but then we'll still keep an eye out on the match. We want to see 2489 becoming champions over there. Moonlight's sweet World Cup year result. Should recruit Ladus. Yeah, why not? Fallen Crocodile, Pluto Gaming, GG, Fallen GG, 89 easy win, yes. Hello King 4 is here. Ladus is the best commentator. 4 my king is there. Good to have you here. And 2489, yes, 2489 wins. Now in terms of 1v, as much as we are fighting 1v, as much as I personally hold the highest record of fighting against 1v, so I fought 1v in 4 KVKs. I don't think anyone has that unfortunate pleasure, but then at the same time, in terms of the 1v Osiris League match, I'm still kind of rooting for 1v. You know why? Because then the third match is going to be interesting, because otherwise Osiris League is over and I don't want it to be over. So I want 1v to win so that we have a third match, and at the same time I got coins on 1v, and I do care about coins because I'm a materialistic man, because that's what Rise of Kingdoms has made me. Now in terms of the Ark fight, there's still 7 minutes left, so I don't know whether these guys are gonna start heading towards the mid already, maybe in a couple minutes time. Now there's all sorts of weird things happening here, so there's 10-21 marches kind of standing here. I don't know why. That's a dead march that should be hitting those marches so that they kind of go back. The garrison seems to be pretty low in health in Shrine of War, but then I think it's gonna survive. Yeah, I think it's gonna survive. So 1v couldn't take over the Shrine of Life. In terms of the Desert Altar, 1v couldn't take that over either. 1v is not doing that great in terms of holding on to their building. 1v is probably gonna keep that Shrine of Life. I'm just going around the buildings to see what's happening where. So there's no pressure on the 1v Desert Altar, no pressure on the Shrine of Life. 1v is pressuring the Sky Altar. Let's see how much pressure are we talking about here. Not much pressure, because we see the Henry and Nebu getting swarmed down. There's a Zenobia garrison, now there's a Jadwiga garrison, but look at how many marches 1021 has there. So 1021 has a lot of marches, so they're gonna keep that building as well. So now with about 6 minutes left, it's probably time where we see both the teams kind of thinking about going to the middle. So let's see if we can see the mid fights. Now I accidentally closed something. Did I close stream? No, I clicked something. I was worried that did I click on end stream. I'm such a noob, that can happen to me sometimes. But either way, let's look at the middle situation. Now, no one with 5.5 minutes left, no one going to the middle. Actually 1v started going to the middle, so 1v has to win this arc as well. If 1v loses this arc, then they're tying up the match with 1021 again. Maybe 1021 will have a bit more of a lead. Now both teams should have to the death this time, so it's gonna be interesting to see. All right, so even from 1021 we are seeing Nevsky Attila, guys. So the meta changed, so it's not Attila Nevsky, it's actually Nevsky Attila. I don't know the explanation behind it, but if both teams are using it in the finals, then it has to be that. Now look at that green arrow that I was talking about. You see those arrows coming from 1v all the time. To me, this is absolutely must to use, whether it's KVK on Ark, and some people just doesn't get it, but that's all right. The people that gets it, they win, so I guess, you know, more good to them. John Yes here, 2488. Hey man, 2488 is under a little bit pressure, so even though it's a well played match, looks like 2489 kind of got it. So it's 15,000 versus 25,000, so the points difference is pretty high, so it's not necessarily going in 2488's favor. But in terms of the next middle fight with 3 minutes left, we are gonna check it as well to see whether 88 can kind of try to pull a miracle in that match. But then in terms of this building garrison, probably a beautiful garrison from garrison success from 1v if they can hold on to it, because they don't have any fat around. Piltong, get in, brother. Piltong with the Jadwiga, he should be getting in, and he just got in, and that means the building will survive. Now the reason why I'm saying this is such a beautiful save from 1v, it's because there's no fat around. If you have a lot of marches around, that means you're overcommitting. 1v has that balance down to perfection, where they just have enough marches where they're not gonna lose the building, but they're not overcommitting too many marches, which means they can share the marches around in other areas. So 1v definitely is gonna hold on to that. Now looking up though in the sky altar, it looks like 1v lost that building. Well, actually 1v lost that building much earlier, but then now 1v is taking back. So as much as there's a Jiska and probably YSS, yes, YSS garrison there, the Duke King Zhang rally, the Archer rally with Henry and Nebu is going to get that back. And now Justin with that garrison shouldn't probably be hitting it. Don't be hitting it, man. Just stand there. You want your garrison in full health. Alright, so with that Jiska, it's actually not going to be a YSS behind. It's actually a Jadwiga behind. So full cav garrison going in for the sky altar. Now let's check the buildings per minute. So 1021 has an advantage again. So we are looking at 740 points per minute versus 440 points per minute. So 1v is not doing great in terms of the building game. They didn't do the best in the first one as well. So I don't understand why they had to hold on to the Ark, because their main game has been Ark. Now speaking of main game, let's have a look at what 1v is doing with 2 minutes left. They will look at what side they're standing on. So they are actually standing on the 1021 side. Now that's way too aggressive. I have a feeling that 1v, as these guys 1021 starts gathering and pushing in, they may be kind of coming back here. So what 1v is doing, if they actually walk back, even then it's a good strategy, because what 1v is doing is making 1021 work together. Now for some reason working together is a big challenge in Rise of Kingdoms. Whenever you set the marker, I mean, I don't know whether it happens to these top teams, but happens to rest of us. So what happens there is, sometimes when, you know, marches are kind of trying to walk back together into one direction, some of them are going to be a little slower, some of them going to be a little bit faster, and that gives the advantage to 1v. Now as you can see, 1v has stepped back a little bit. I don't know whether they're going to step back much further, so maybe that's not the game play that they were going on, because now they have walked back a little bit, but then it's still kind of working. Look at that, some of the 1021 coming in, or actually no, it's just one march. Yes, 1v is doing that thing. So 1v is coming back. So we actually made a good call here in terms of what 1v is going to do. So 1v coming back a little bit, 1v making 1021 do some little movements, and the little movements are never good, and whichever team has to engage first is usually disadvantaged as well, because that same all marches working together kind of, you know, comes in. So we are seeing all sorts of skills going on, same skills, war drums, and then you got mystical formation going in for both teams. So 1v, again, 1v is having that advantage because 1v is getting 1021 to come in. Now look at that, some 1021 coming in. It's never gonna be in one go because it just doesn't work that way. We got to the death coming in from 1v, to the death from 1021 as well. So we are definitely going to see a major finals deciding mid fight going on here. So 1021, I see sad faces going home, but then I see sad faces going home from 1v as well. So as I was saying, 1v had a little bit of an advantage going into the fight, but in terms of the skills, both teams using the same skills. Now I see a lot more 1021 sad faces going on. So 1v may have this, 1v may have this. Does 1v have this? I see a lot of blue marches going on. So 1v, the Ark has spawned. Who got a grab? No, it's 1021. 1021 got a grab on the Ark. 1021 got a grab on the Ark, and 1021 has pulled it a little bit towards their side. But then 1v maybe not even focusing on the Ark, maybe they're just focusing on clearing the field of blue. Oh, 1021 again grabbing the Ark, pulling a little bit towards their side. I don't know, now it feels like equal marches going sad face from both sides, but earlier we see a lot more 1021 marches go. If I look at the middle, it's kind of still even, but maybe a little bit more red, I don't know. Now speaking of middle fights, red and blue, like look at the mini map over here, look at the mini map on the right hand corner, it's all red. So the third Ark probably goes to 2489 as well. 24-89, bringing home victory. 24-89 is definitely champions over there. Now, what was I saying before mid-fight? There is a reason why 1v delayed the Ark a little bit, because they're not as confident about middle as we thought, because the middle is now completely cleared of red. Do you see any red? I don't see any red. And 10-21 is doing it again. 10-21 pulling back the Ark, so they didn't get the first Ark, but in terms of the second one, solid domination from 10-21, and they're taking the Ark back. Now, whilst the Ark is walking back, did 1v manage to get an advantage on the buildings? Now, 1v did get one extra building with that Nebu rally earlier, but that Nebu is gonna get swarmed down. In terms of points per minute, 440 per minute from 10-21 and 590 from 1v. Now that 590, the extra points, I don't know, maybe it was from this building. Like, this is not converted over, so I don't know why they have more. Maybe one of the blue buildings are still converting, whichever way. So basically, I'm trying to say that 1v does not have an advantage in terms of building. So once 10-21 scores this Ark, so 10-21, which way are they going? It doesn't look like they're going towards the outpost. Looks like they're going towards their Sugar over here is going towards his starting zone. So 10-21, I don't know whether they want to make it a one Ark as well. So from a 10-21 point of view, making it a one Ark match, probably not the worst idea, because after they score this Ark, are they going to have a points advantage? Actually no, after they score this Ark, the points are gonna be dead even. Then it's purely gonna be on buildings and gathering. I don't know why gathering is a thing, but then it is a thing. And then you can see 1v is gathering. Why you gathering with the William? What's wrong with you, man? Why? What is this? How come a William? Is there like a secret farming skill on William that we don't know about? Because you saw these guys, right? 1v kind of walking in. So let's look at the points on the other match. So we got 20,000 points. 20,000 points, 20,600 points for 88 VH, and you got 29,800 points from 89 CG. So it's a 9,000 points difference with 16 minutes to go. So I don't think there's gonna be a lot happening over there. So let's follow the Ark in the 1v match. 10-21 walking back in 10-21. I actually read it as in your ASS, but it's not ASS, it's in your area. In my area. All right, 10-21 is going into someone's area. You do have someone V matches chasing. I mean, this guy is gonna die, but then that doesn't really change anything unless 1v is putting heavy pressure on this building, and 1v is putting heavy pressure on this building. So 1v is actually gonna take over the Shrine of War. 1v is pretty certainly gonna take over the Shrine of War. 1v has a lot of marches. They got a rally and a lot of marches, but then 10-21 is not going to bring the Ark towards this building anyways. So 1v taking that building is good, but 10-21 is gonna go back towards their starting zone. So it's 100% certain that there's not going to be a second Ark. Third Ark. It was quite certain with 1v holding on to the first Ark for as long as they could. So it's going to be a pure buildings game. So we're going to focus on the buildings as much as we can. Now on the other match, 89 CG scored the Ark. So the point difference now is 15,000 points. So 88 VH sitting at 21,500, and 89 CG is on 35,700 points. So 1v, I was saying, is probably gonna take that building, but then all those marches from everywhere came, and 10-21 actually holds on to that building. Now in terms of buildings, let's see how the map kind of looks like. If I zoom out, I see 10-21 having only 2 buildings. 1v is leading the building games big time now. 1v has taken over both altars from the blue side, and not just they have taken over, this is definitely gonna switch over to red to 1v. They are going to clear the blue marches around as well, and as long as they are standing there, it's gonna take forever for the blue team 10-21 to take this building over. Now 1v has put in a garrison there as well. It's actually Jadwiga and YSS, so that garrison is gonna last for a little bit as well. I am strong DYK kill. All the players that we have been, you know, featuring on our channel are fighting together, so it's kind of good. Now if you guys again want to know what these guys are using in terms of their KVK marches, we got a video for that. And now look at what DY Kill is doing. That garrison coming in, what he's doing. DY Kill, such a smart player. He's making sure he takes care of the garrison. So even if the 1021 side takes the building, they're not gonna have a proper garrison. Now after getting that garrison down quite low, he could have decided to let it be as well, because then, you know, it's kind of a useless march. So either way, let's see how this building pressure is gonna go. 1021 coming with a few marches. Still looks like 1v has more marches. The rally is XY, so that's easily swarmable. Oh my god, 1v is just gonna swarm down the XY and Nevsky rally. That is swarmed down, so the rally doesn't succeed. So 1v is gonna hold on to this building for even longer. 1021 has to commit a lot more marches this way, and they are doing it now. Now this is not the only altar that this is not the only altar that 1v had. 1v had taken over the other altar as well, but that one they can't, the desert altar, the 1v can't hold on for too long because 1v didn't have support marches. More importantly, 1v didn't have a proper garrison. It's Nevsky, so heavy swarm. That building is gonna switch hands. Let's look at the points per minute. This is the most important figure now for the next 5 minutes. I'm saying 5 minutes because after the 5 minutes it probably doesn't matter as much, or actually maybe it will. Maybe it'll go down to the wire. So 1021 with 210 points per minute, that is pretty bad. At 1v 740 points per minute. Now both sides has unused teleports. Why do they have unused teleports? Because the gatherers are not coming out. There's no point for them to come out. I don't know. I thought the gatherers coming out makes sense as well. Is it easier to farm from here, or is it, or have they teleported everywhere and that's just extra? Oh no, they have to. This is so late in the match, Ladus. They have used all the teleports. Everyone is forward. That's just extra they haven't used. So either way, we want to kind of check out the potential provision score coming in from 1v. Do we see a lot of gatherers around? Do we though? There are some gatherers. That's not a lot. No, definitely not a lot. So in terms of gathering, 1v is doing some, but it's not going to be an extraordinary score from 1v in terms of gathering. When it comes to 1021, 1v is actually doing a good job with that zone. They're annoying the gatherers from 1021. So they're disrupting their gathering. 1v has 2 marches. 1v with 1 march was actually chasing the Ark carrier as well, but the Ark carrier is in full health and that zone is not in full health. So yeah, I don't know, but they are going to bother the gatherers. So 1021 has some gatherers, but actually, you know what, it's not like there's more than couple people, definitely no more than 2 people farming from each side. So we may not see a big difference when it comes to the provisioning score. It's again down to buildings. Now in terms of buildings, that sky altar that we were excited about, so 1021 has taken that over. They have put a Janjiska in the building, and then 1021 is moving ahead. Now look at that, when they're moving ahead, they're carrying that Jadwiga with them as well. So when and if they manage to take over the Shrine of Life from 1v, they will be able to put a garrison there. Now I don't know whether the Jadwiga is going this way, but 1v is anticipating that. 1v is sending out quite a few marches this way as well, and they are going to intercept them halfway through. On the right hand side, there's again there's lots of swarming pressure going on the desert altar from 1v with the Jadwiga garrison. Now 1v has enough marches here. 1v should be able to keep the garrison full. And in terms of the march choices from 1021, I mean, I don't see the green arrow. Big fan of the green arrow. I think it's mandatory unless you're swarming as long as you're swarming a building, you want to have the green arrow. Otherwise, you're not switching that building over fast enough or efficiently enough. I don't think 1021 has this building, so that push may not be successful. 1v has taken over the desert altar again from 1021. Now in terms of that desert altar, they have a put in a Scipio, and what's the secondary? I'm hoping it's Flavius. Is it Flavius? It has to be Flavius. I don't know, actually, I can't tell. Now, insatiable desires coming in from OneV. So OneV thought about this situation. They knew they're gonna play 2 arcs, obviously, and when you're like playing for 2 arcs, you need to make sure you have insatiable desire, because towards the end you can use it. Good time to use it is when there's about 10 minutes left, so that you at least get a good 5 minutes, because you don't kind of want to wait till too late, because in the last few seconds your marches are actually walking back rather than gathering. Now, OneV with that garrison change, having Jadwiga now, so that building, actually, you know what, that building may hold, because 1021, all the marches swarming are kind of, you know, half dead. 1021 does have more marches coming in, but the longer 1021, OneV holds this, obviously they are generating points and they're denying points from the enemy. Now, it's important to say that building has switched over, so it just switched over to 1021. So in terms of points per minute, OneV all along having a little bit of a lead. OneV showing after the loss of the second arc, OneV has completely focused on the building games, which is allowing them to have a consistent lead in terms of the points per minute from the buildings. So OneV has a good advantage now. You're looking at 24,000 versus 30,000 with 7 minutes left. Within the 7 minutes, there's not gonna be any arc. Which way do you think this is gonna go? With 7 minutes left, it may be a little too early to tell, but then it's looking good for OneV. It's looking for all Osiris League fans. You know why? You know why it's looking good? Because that means there's gonna be a meaningful third match in this realm. So one more week of action of Osiris League, one more match we can cast, one more match we can enjoy together. So am I being too hopeful? I don't know. What's the difference now? They just scored the arc, so I wasn't looking at the arc. Noob again. So they just scored the arc. With them scoring the arc, 1021 is within what's the points difference there now? Let's say about 3,000. Even then it's like a 3,000 points difference. With the 3,000 points difference, 7 minutes to go, still a hard task on 1021. 1021 have not used insatiable desires. They may not even have insatiable desires, and that means they're not gonna out provision OneV. Now OneV, that Jiska garrison, now we know that behind that Jiska, they, ooh, 1021 actually using insatiable desires. All right, 1021 left it very late. They're still gonna get the full 5 minutes, because you don't need more than 1 minute for the marches to, you know, kind of gathering marches to come home. So what I want to see from OneV now is potentially sending at least couple marches to bother those gatherers. So there's a lot more people gathering now. Yep, now you probably have like at least 5 people gathering. I mean, there's more than 5 people gathering. Obviously, doesn't make sense. You don't have enough nodes, but maybe up to 5 people gathering now. Now, this is what I was saying. OneV sending at least 2 marches to bother the 1021 players, and you do see 2 marches. You got the Joan, you got the XY, high damage marches. They're gonna annoy the, you know, F out of the 1021 marches. Now, is 1021 doing the same thing to OneV? I'm pretty sure they should be. I don't know whether they are though. Do they have marches bothering? I don't see 1021 bothering OneV's gatherers on this side. Are they bothering them on the other side? Nope. Well, I actually don't see OneV gathering at all on the other side. Now look at that. When I'm looking at a desert scene, this desert music playing in the background. Is that coincidence? Or did I plan it just like that? But either way, it doesn't look like there's a lot of gatherers from OneV on that side. So, points. OneV is kind of maintaining that 3,000 point difference they had. OneV is maintaining that 3,000 points difference they had from the 7th minute. And they're kind of continuing with that.
1029 donated $5. Die in RSS. No, don't get the RSS. Die in open field. You get the RSS when dead troops get home.
That's a beautiful tip from TSN Lambao, guys, in case if you didn't know. Yes, that's definitely the case. Now, TSN Lambao does a lot of content himself, there are lots of guides, so if you want to, if you're a new player, if you want to find out, check out his channel as well. Now, when it comes to this Shrine of Life from 1021, we're seeing OneV holding on to it. Now 1021 is going to switch it over, but that's going to be too late when they switch it over, so at least from that building they're not going to get any more points. Now in terms of buildings, it looks like that was the only extra building that was in OneV's favor. There's no other buildings that anyone has from other sides, so the building game is going to be quite even. Now towards the last couple minutes, even if they switch it over, it doesn't make as much of a difference, but then 1021 is still trying with the XY rally. Now XY Nevsky 1021 on the bottom lane, they have been doing XY and Nevsky rallies, and that hasn't really been doing well. The Nevsky Attila rally probably was doing a little bit better. Now I Am Strong is swarming them down. They're not going to take this building from OneV. We see a pretty significant lead, more than 3,000 points, actually 3,400, 500 points maybe. OneV using Art Push just because they have the extra points. It's not like they're taking over any buildings. Maybe if they can take it over, nope, they were challenging the Desert Altar, but they were not successful in getting that, so I don't know what that Art Push is achieving. Maybe if they were doing a rally, I mean, I don't think a rally will get to a building now. They're just using up the points they had. But either way, confidently now, I think we can say that OneV definitely has won this match. So congratulations to OneV for winning the second match and keeping their chances alive in this Osiris League Season 6 finals. So 2 minutes 20 left. You got 4,000 points difference. Now in terms of the points, you will see a little bit of a bulk point come in from all the gathering from 1021, because 1021 used the Insatiable Desires 3-4 minutes after OneV did. So 1021's gatherers, that big boost is probably going to come a little bit later. I don't think that's going to make a big difference though. So probably GG time. Probably GG time for 1021. They played well. I mean, not just well, they played very good. But 1021 probably didn't change enough for this match. Like in terms of what they're doing. Actually, to be honest, I don't know whether OneV changed a lot either. So one of the things Sepp, one of the viewers earlier, was saying on the chat that OneV probably switched around some of the marches, especially apparently they were using a lot more John Nevsky before, and this time around they pretty much switched everything to, I mean sorry, they were using Nevsky John a lot before, but this time around they may have switched over everything to John Nevsky. So John Nevsky, I think I saw OneV using like a lot of John Nevsky before, but either way, from my point of view, I actually don't see a lot of changes from either side. They pretty much played the same game. Now 1021 has managed to take the Shrine of War from OneV. They put a Joan in garrison, OneV coming over. They're gonna, actually 1021 for the last, like, you know, half a minute, they may get a little bit of a point out of that, but then it's not going to be significant enough. The point difference has come down a little bit again. We're looking at, oh no, it went up again. So as the gatherers coming in, points are going to jump around quite a bit. Buildings game, it does look like Black Jack has a little bit more, but 20 seconds left. The points per minute doesn't mean anything because you got a less than a minute left. With 17 seconds left, 34,450, 37,319. So 1021 probably have to plan for the final match now. They don't get to celebrate their victory, and it's OneV who is tying it up 1-1, and they win this match, and then the other match is over as well. So now we are going to switch over the screen and we are gonna look at the 1021 match. The reason why we wanted to do that, because 1020, I mean not 1021, to the 2489 match. Now 2489 and 89 CG in particular, their main alliance, have won the second match of their finals. They won the first match as well, and you know what that means. That means we got a new Osiris League champion in the realm of Sobek. Now they're playing in Sobek now. I think they move to Bastet next time, but either way they're gonna have that fancy flag. I don't know whether Lilith actually gives you that fancy flag straight away, or Lilith waits a little bit and after the third match they give it. Either way they're gonna have that fancy flag when we get there. Now 2488 did not win a single arc in this match, just like the last match. 89 CJ has won every single mid fight, so all 3 arcs. So they're definitely, or not all 3, sorry, all 4 arcs, and they're definitely winning with a big marches. So you got 30,000 versus 53,000, almost double the points. In terms of provisioning, not on 89 CG not only got all the arcs, they provisioned more, they actually got more occupation score as well. So in terms of all the fields, 2489 did a little bit better. So congratulations to 2489 for winning their first Osiris League match. Now we are gonna leave that on that screen and look at the 1v match. So in terms of the 1v match, 1 arc each. 1021 got the second arc, but 1v had the first arc. Both teams chose to hold on to their arcs, so pretty much both teams preferring to have only 2 mid fights. And then in terms of provisioning, 1v provisioning a little bit more than 1021, but to be honest, when I look at the numbers there, both more than my expectation. I actually thought both of them are going to have around 3,000 to 4,000, not 4,900 and 5,800. So both teams prioritizing provisioning a little bit more than what I guess I have anticipated. In terms of the building games, it's pretty even as well. So arc and buildings pretty even. So occupation score 26. Oh, actually no, 1v played it, so oh, sorry, I got my 6s and 9s all over the place. So occupation score 1021 has 26,500, and 1v playing a better buildings game with 29,100. So 3,000, roughly 2,500 lead from 1v in terms of buildings, and about 1,000 lead in terms of provisioning. The final score difference of 3,000 roughly is explained by those two things. In terms of the kills, 1v marches are probably a little bit stronger. They probably coordinate a little bit better, so that's why you see a slight advantage in terms of 1v. In terms of kills, in terms of save wounds, obviously that's just, you know, they're looking at the same figure, you know, either way, because it's not like there's a third player. Lilith doesn't come in and kill troops from either side, so it's gonna be, you know, switched over. I don't know why they switch it, like, you know what I mean, right? So whatever kills 1v has is gonna be the save wounds from 1021. So why do you want to show it as 2 separate statistics? Like, is there a chance they can be different? Like, have you ever seen that different? Now in terms of units healed, 1v has more power players, so more troops, so they don't have to heal as much. But either way, it's you know, neither they're not here. I'm pretty sure no one minds healing either way. So that brings us to the end of the commentary of the Ark of Osiris second matches. So that's all we had for today. Now GT60 TSN Lambu plays at 15 UTC. Maybe Lambu is gonna stream that, maybe you can watch it, but for me, today being Sunday and me having to wake up tomorrow in the morning, I don't think I should be streaming you know, 15 UTC matches. So I haven't done my daily clicks and barbs and whatever I gotta do, so I'm gonna do that now and watch a little bit of World Cup and go to sleep. 60 GT, I'm pretty sure is gonna be an easy win, but I wish I could see them in action though. But anyways, that's pretty much it. So guys, thank you for your support. And if you haven't dropped a like yet, I hope you do, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. With that note, I'm gonna say bye now, and I am going to see you guys again tomorrow in a very special video. So tomorrow we're bringing out a very special video. I'm not gonna ruin it by talking about it, so be subscribed, turn on notifications so that you can check out that video as soon as it comes out. Bye for now.